Well, good evening and welcome to the SHAC. My name's Barbara Gray from Clarity here in the UK, and we're set to hang out together for an hour, do a bit of colouring perhaps tonight. Travelling gently, I think, is on the front door today. So do come in and let's hang out together for an hour. There's nothing on the telly, not worth watching, so come on in. And our darling Grace is in the room with your good selves, so she'll be able to answer any questions if you have any. And other than that, let's get going. Come on in, Gracie. You should be able to hear me okay. I hope that the sound is good. I turned it down before I went live. And other than that, how are you, my friends? How are you? Here they come. Good to have your company. Sorry about Monday. I know Monday was a bit of a blowout. We had to just hit the brakes. We had such an amazing weekend. Zara, nice to have your company. See if you can spot that lovely little card that you made me and left on the desk on Sunday afternoon. There it is. It's beautiful. I'll have a look at it in a minute. Really gorgeous, Zara. Thank you. Yeah, so we had our open days, really hectic, but really brilliant. And so Friday and Saturday, I don't know why I worried about not enough people rocking up. It was perfect, absolutely bang on. Over 30 people turned up at the door and bought tickets on the Friday alone, so that made a difference. And I guess the only thing we might have done differently is we decided to reduce the numbers in the make and takes, just because it was so hectic and because not many people were coming. We thought, well, if we've got 20 people doing the make and take, then there'll be nobody in the hall because they'll all be doing the make and takes. And then so we changed the number, which was actually much better for the people that managed to sign up, but not so good for those that came later. So we'll do it. We'll work it out. By November, we'll have made a different plan. So come on in. Let me see what else happened, Grace. Oh yeah, the raffles went well. The pottery went well. All my little raku birds flew out. Yeah, it was a really, really successful couple of days. And then the workshops with Linda and myself, they were very well received also. And yeah, it did. It went well. We changed the format on my workshop because there's a lot of people, nearly 50 people. So we did it differently. We had a little cinema, like a kind of a cinema up the front. But I think it went really well, and it meant that we could all do the same thing together. So I think I'm going to go with that format in the summer too, when we do our retreats. So there's 2-day workshops coming up, same place. We call them our retreats. I'm not sure what the dates are. It's somewhere in August. If you're interested, then do sign up, and we'll have some really brilliant projects going there. Linda also is on the Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, so hi, Carol. Good to have your company too. Come on in. Sam Crow is also in the building. Yeah, it was such a busy few days. And then, by Monday, we didn't know what hit us. So, in fact, it wasn't just me. It was everybody, the people at work that had been tear-assing around all weekend. None of us knew which way to turn. But it was a great few days, It really did. Yeah, I think it was very well received. There were a few people that weren't there, like our Ken and Glynis, due to poor health. Is Ken in with us today? I'm just checking. Not sure. I'll see him in a minute. If you see Ken in, shout. I'm hoping that he's doing okay too. Yeah, so other than that, time for a cup of tea and time to do some colouring. I thought today, do you know what? I thought today we're going to bring our alphabet to a colourful conclusion. And the best way to do it, because I was thinking about we're on X, Y, and Z. And I thought, oh, I just haven't got it in me to come up with something with X, Y, and Z. So how about we just go to the poster, that beautiful floral poster, and we colour in the last 3 letters. And that way, X, Y, Z, alphabets, done. And on Monday, we can get together at 10 o'clock. And I've got between now and then to come up with something new and exciting. How's that sound? Ken, he is there. Just had to come over to my computer as Facebook isn't working on my phone. Hi, Ken. Good to have your company, my friend. Good. Yeah, I heard rave reviews about Linda Williams' workshop. Of course, I was in the other room, but I have it on good authority that it was excellent. So let's have a look. How are you? How is everybody? All good? I thought this evening we'd do a little bit of colouring, keep it calm. And what was the weather like where you were today? It poured down here today. I mean, that's a good thing. It's good for the garden, you know. But yeah, it was tipping down today. Right. So I thought we'd do a little bit of colouring. Every time we have a little break, I'll do a little highlight of what's coming up, what we're doing tomorrow, what's coming up next week. I don't know about you, but I just, this week I was kind of thinking about clarity, you know, working on the business rather than in the business, and had a few business meetings with various individuals. And so I was thinking about the business, because that was what I was doing this week. And I have to say, it feels to me like we're really doing well, you know. I feel like we're coming up with new designs, new ideas, but it's not over. It's not overselling, you know. It's. I just feel comfortable with it. Yeah, I really do. And if I do, that means you do too. I just feel that, you know, we've got really good creative ideas coming through, and it's almost as though since Create and Craft folded in Oundle, and we've regrouped, it feels like we've got more creative control over what we do at Clarity, you understand? And yeah, we're not chasing up and down the motorway all the time to Oundle, and it just feels like, in a weird sort of way, it feels like we're working for ourselves rather than for other people. Yeah, I quite like that too. So yeah, every cloud has a silver lining and all that, you know. Yeah. So let's have a look. We've got this lovely poster, which many of you, you know, every now and again we dip into the poster and we colour it in, don't we? Do you remember? Let's have a look at this. Yeah, you can see here we've done that row. There's a few missing here, and then I thought we could do the last 3. Look, I'll show you. I thought I had a quiet hour this afternoon, and I thought, yeah, X, Y, and Z. So that's Xeranthemum, Yarrow, and Zenobia. Those are the last 3, and I thought that would be actually really nice. That would be really nice to finish with. And then we could always work our way backwards and do wisteria and violet and work our way that way. But today, let's just do these. And then that means we've finished the alphabet. We've gone all the way through. It's taken us 1.5 years. Yeah, I know. But we've had a good journey. We've definitely dined out on the alphabet, haven't we? So, yeah, back in control. That's exactly what it is, Ken. It feels like we're back in control, you know, and we've got so many great ideas, and we can focus on on the bigger picture now without having to, Paul and I were up and down that motorway every week. And so it makes a big difference. It makes a huge difference. So, yeah, I think slowly catchy monkey on this one. But I'm really feeling that we're getting out of the woods now. It's been a bit of a dark place for a while, but I feel that the light is starting to shine now, if you get what I mean. So that's good. And I think that the open days were a kind of and I'm not talking about the financials. I'm talking about the sense that we're moving in the direction that I really want to move in now, and so does the team. We all seem a lot happier doing what we're doing. Tomorrow, for example, I'm going in with Grace, and I'm working with Paul at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock on what he was demonstrating at the open days. I blogged about it today. It just feels like when I start blogging again, that the clouds are clearing. That's the truth of it. When I start blogging again, that the clouds are clearing. So two blogs, one day after another. That's very good. I know what that means in my head. I get me now, and I understand that if I've got enough clarity of mind, if you'll pardon the pun, to blog, then things are looking up in my head anyway. So let's have a look at these two. Let's have a look at these three letters, shall we? How about that? So I've did that one. So to prepare, bus driver always has to get ahead a little bit, doesn't she? These are, for those of you who are not sure what I'm talking about, welcome to the shack. You can see here, these are the floral alphabet posters. You get 3 A3 posters, and then you also get the key, which is, you can colour that in as well if you like. That one's got the words on it. Nice, eh? Yeah. And there's the one that we're colouring in, which you see this one has got the letters coloured in for you. Yeah. Then there are two that don't have the letter. So you've got 3 A3 posters, one with light grey lettering, and then you've also got the floral alphabet key, which is this one. There you are. That's useful too. And I'll tell you what, right? So tomorrow, we're showing you the hot foiling that Paul was doing at the open days. And actually, Lisa and I talked about this. We think that this would make a beautiful pack, like cards for gold foiling or for silver foiling or for hot foiling, right? So that's something I'm going to talk to her about tomorrow. We've got plans for this hot foiling. This is just its initiation phase. This is getting us into the swing of hot foiling. I'll show you a little bit of it later. We've had some really great results with this, and the more you start experimenting, I talked about it in the blog today, I think, the more you experiment and the more you play what if, the more brilliant ideas just start coming. So that's good. Nahid, hello, my dear. Nice to have your company too. Anyway, so I'm sure that Grace will put up the link if you're interested in buying that A3 poster pack. And I need that one as my key. And I need the one that I'm colouring in with you, my friends. There you go. So hands up, who's colouring in with me? I'm going to use my polychromos, but you can use any colouring pencils that you have. And I'm treating myself to my polychromos. I've got them all here in my pencil pots. I know, I ought to have pottery pencil pots, but I went off on a tangent with me raku birds, didn't I? I know, I can't do it all. So I'll do pencil pots for the November open days and robins. And so when was it? We were absolutely good for nothing. Grace and I think it was Monday night, she and I sat in the kitchen and she, I was doing birds, just it's easy, and I was just sitting there. We were chatting away about the open days, and Grace went off at a tangent, and she made the most beautiful little penguins, a little pair of penguins with pebbles, absolutely spectacular. So there you go. I might have to start emulating Grace with the penguins. Nahid says, "My owl is sat watching me, watching you." Oh, nice, nice. Okay, so let's have a look. What we on? We've got that one, and we've got that one. This looks good to me. Let's have a look. So that's the one we're doing, and there it is for me there. So I reckon that we could easily do. I reckon we could do all three of those, don't you? Yeah, I do. I'm going to leave that. Actually, I'm going to do that differently. I'm going to do it like that so I don't lean all over my artwork. There you go. It's more intelligent, correct? Let's have a look. Okay, so that way we can see what it's supposed to look like. I mean, to be honest, there's a xeranthemum, when I looked, they come in all different colours, so does the yarrow. So I'm down for whatever colour you fancy. But this kind of flavour is quite nice at the bottom, isn't it? So I'm going to just tackle one letter at a time. But I think the first thing I want to do is bring out the actual letters themselves. I need to see where the letter is. How does that sound? Let's do that, eh? I might come in a bit closer. The other thing that I'd like to do is these lovely corners, but you ought to do all four at the same time. I should think that would probably make more sense, eh? Right, so what we'll do is we'll get colouring and we'll have a bit of banter while we're doing it. How's that sound? This is really easy colouring. Easy. Honest, Gov. This isn't hard. We'll just do a little bit of colour blending. I've just sharpened my grey to do the letter. So the letter is, I'm going to use Cold Grey 3, which is the one that I've used all through. I do have a little book. And in that little book, fortunately, I write the colours. So I actually wrote up there Cold Grey 3. And I'm glad about that. We were talking about that in the Sunday workshop because we were working with alcohol inks and making landscapes. I think people really enjoyed it. But one of the things that's really important when you're using paints or pencils or any colour combinations is to make a note of the colours that you use. Same in pottery. What glaze did you use? Grey. How often do I stand there and go, I can't remember what colour I used? Yeah, so it's good to write it down. Takes the thinking out of it. So let's have a look. I'm going to put my Dame Edna's on because my little eyes are tired. There you go. And hopefully I won't get my head in the way. That's it. So, how are you anyway? How are you feeling? So to do this part here, I'm going to come down a little bit in my chair. See, if I come down a bit, then I'm closer to the paper. See? That's better. Honestly. Right, let's have a look. So, I'm going to just add, cool, it's a lot better actually. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Yeah, so we're just going to add grey to the letter. And then we'll be able to see what we're actually doing. I'm going to do all three at the same time. And then we can go for the flowers. How's that sound? Yeah. Yeah, the open days were... it's always a risk, I've got to say. When you organise an event, and any event organisers here will understand exactly what I'm talking about. You can never... There are so many variables, Are your friends going to turn up? Is the weather going to be okay? Are you going to get stuck in a heat wave? There are always so many different factors to consider. Is the food going to be all right? Are you going to have enough bread for sandwiches? Have we brought everything that we need? Especially when you bolt on a workshop for 80 people, 2 workshops actually, Linda's and mine. So when you're bolting on workshops as well, have you got everything that the demo ladies, the demonstrators have got? Have you brought everything? There's so many things to consider. You see this all right? Is that okay, Grace? Good. Can you hear the beautiful birds? Yeah, so it's a little bit like that when you organize an event like the open days and you're expecting, like 400 people, well, 200 each day, let's say, okay, and you think, oh, whether 20 turn up or 200 turn up, at least with the ticket numbers, you've got a rough idea of how many loaves of bread you're going to need, but the people that at the hall in Ditton, nothing's too much trouble. The people that run the hall, the managers of the hall, they're just such nice people, and nothing's too much trouble. They work with you. They're very, very helpful. That helps a lot too. That really does help a lot too. So I think all in all, it went very well. It was a huge success. Now I'm really looking forward to November. And I must remind myself, as it gets closer to the open days in November, that it will be brilliant and everything will be fine and not to worry like I always do. And then, of course, in between then and now, we've also got the summer retreats. And now I'm worried that not enough people are going to come to that. And so it goes on. It's perpetual. It's all right, though. It's the way I'm wired. Right, so I'm just applying the grey to the letters so we can see the X, Y, and Z. Are we good with that? Can we see that? And then I think what I'll do is once I've applied the grey, cold grey 3, I think then I'll go back over the grey with a blending nib, and I'll just dry blend. I think I'll dry blend. I don't think I need oil. I can always go back over the whole poster with some blending oil, Dorso oil, afterwards at the end when we've drawn and coloured in all the flowers. Yeah. There you go. Can you hear those fabulous birds? So Grace and Dave and I went up on the forest yesterday, and Ashdown Forest, Winnie the Pooh world, and it's really lovely because there's a really super bench. So Dave, we walk away, and then Dave stops at the bench and he relaxes, and then Grace and I, we do our circuit. We've got a circuit that we do, and the birds, there were so many birds, it was crazy. Now let me see if I can. I mean, I thought we had a lot in the garden. Let me see if I can show you. Just a moment. Because I think I've told you about this app that I've got on my phone. It's called Merlin Bird. Now, let me see. My sound recordings. Now, let me see if I've... No, have I gone and lost them? That's so typical of me, isn't it? My sound recordings. There were so many of them yesterday. Like crazy. The 4th of June, that was yesterday, was it? 4th of June. Yeah, that's it. Let me check this out. 4th of June. Look at this lot. This is what we heard on the forest last night. There was a common chiff-chaff, a blackbird, a cuckoo, a wren, and a tree pipit. Yeah, there's a blackbird here at the moment. And then, as if that weren't enough, let me see. Then I went again, and we went up on another ridge and I heard the chaffinch and a blue tit, all in the space of about 20 minutes. Really beautiful, you know. I've talked about this app before. It's called Merlin Bird. Here, look, Merlin Bird ID, and it's really brilliant because if you haven't got it and you like birds, you know, now it's just a wonderful time for them because what it does is it records the birds and it identifies them, and then it also highlights. So when the blackbird's going, it goes yellow, and when the blue tit's going, then the blue tit is highlighted. So you're learning as well. And I've learned to identify birds now without the robin, for example. I know exactly which one's a blackbird, which one's a robin, which one's a blue tit, which one's a chaffinch. You know, it's an association game. When it goes, you only have to do it half a dozen times, and then you realize it's so cool. Yeah. So if you haven't downloaded it yet and you like it, it's free. Really excellent. Yeah, really excellent. So that's worth noting. Now let's get my other glasses on again. Right, grey. We'll go with the grey and then we'll start colouring. Yeah, so yesterday and the day before we went up on the forest and we got some fresh air, and it was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful panoramic views. We're so lucky. We've got this at our doorstep, you know. We live in abundance. There we are. We live in abundance. It's quite something. And just have to take advantage of it, really, you know. Always nose to the grindstone. You miss half of it, don't you? And I'm happy to work. I am. I don't know what I'd do with myself if I didn't. But there has to be a little bit of balance. And even if it's just a little walk up on the forest, makes all the difference in the world. Now let's have a look. I think I'll get myself sure I've got some nibs. There's a new one. Let's cut the new nibs. There we go. Let's try and clean nib and do a bit of grey work. See if it can. Yeah, it smooths it out beautifully. You don't have to press hard at all. Just pushes the pigment around, you know? Little circular motions. There you go. Once you've done one layer like this, it's almost, yeah, it's great because then when you go back in with the grey, it goes smoother and smoother and smoother. Yeah, nice. So let's see, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, Paul and I are going to be getting together on Clarity TV, and that'll be great fun because we're going to be putting the hot foil through its paces. Now, I blogged about it today, but also if you were at the open days, you will have seen what Paul was getting up to. I mean, he really got into it, and it's something new, and it's something. What I like about it is that it's something that you apply it to your existing stash. You know, if you've got a Clarity stash, so we're going to kind of unveil the fact that we're not going to make a secret about the fact that it's all about toner prints. It's all about laser prints, digital laser prints. So we've put together some starter kits, and I tell you what, the results are quite something. They are. That'll do for now on the grey. So now I can see exactly where the flowers are, which is much better, isn't it? Yeah. The gold foil really came out well. I haven't got much here because we had it all at work, but I could show you a couple of bits and pieces so you can see. I just had a few. This is when we were testing stuff. So for example, let me show you this. Look, you see? So this is like our bow papers, laser prints, okay? And you can see how it works really nicely on the bow wobs. Look, so that's the gold. But what's fascinating, and this is what you want to come in and see tomorrow, what we figured out was it's like when you do this, okay, for those of you who weren't at the open days, so when you do this, you run it through a laminator, right? But when you peel this away, if you think about it, you've got everything that's white here is gold on the waste, isn't it? So we were doing this and we were looking at the waste and we was like, there's another image in here. You know, the old positive and the negative, the two-way overlay stamps. That's what we do all the time, isn't it? And so I was looking at that and I said, I wonder, right? And Jim and Lisa and Paul, we were all there, Julie, all having a go. And then we worked it out that if you've got laser printed colored paper, then you can reverse it. So that's what we're going to show you tomorrow. Really brilliant. Let me see if I can show you a couple of just little bits that I've got here. So we've got these taster sheets, like sampler sheets, and you can see all the different, like the gold. See how it laminates? Really top quality laminate, look. And then that's the gold one. Then there's a pink rose, pink gold. That's lovely. I like that as well, see? So now you know that everything, all our postcards, everything that we print in-house, now you get to laminate it. Look, it's so nice. Silver. And there, right, this is a real grungy piece. That's a scrap, but I've deliberately made it look scrappy because it's lino. It's a lino design. But so that's a scrap, right? So we'll show how that works tomorrow. Yeah, they come out so nice. Look, my favorite quote: "Nobody is you, that is your power." And the birds. So in each kit, so we've got the 3 different foils, and then each kit, there are different designs, laser printed designs of ours, you know, like images of ours, just as a sort of a sampler pack. And it gives you an idea. And then Paul and I were talking about it today. There are bow papers in there as well. And we were saying that, you know, going forward, what would be really brilliant is if we had a monthly release of really cool designs of ours, you know, that you can then hot foil, you know, and we'll be showing you how to do it and get the best result every time. So if you have time tomorrow at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, the products are already on the website, and all you need is a laminator to do this. If you've got a laminator, happy days. But we sourced a really top quality made in Germany laminator, because not all laminators are the same. I can tell you that now, and not all foil is the same either. We tried several different places, and until we found the best. This is really good stuff. So there you go, and it's a sort of industrial strength laminate hot foil, really good. Yeah, so there you go. Right, so that's tomorrow at 10 and 2, which would be good. Really love it. And it's quite exciting as well as a team, you know, when we get together and we start bouncing off each other. And Lisa, because the print room's downstairs, but the TV studio is upstairs, and for some reason we had it spread all over the TV studio. And Lisa was up and down those stairs like a yo-yo, because she was the one that was getting the printed, the papers, you know, and they were all down in the print room. So she was up and down and up and down. It was great, trying to work out what thickness, you know, because we figured out it's the opposite of what you think. If, you know, if it's not coming out perfectly, then your gut reaction, because you're a die cutting person, you think, oh, you've got to pack it. You've got to put a couple of shims in to make it press harder. And that's actually the opposite of what you should do, because the more you pack, the more you insulate, the less the heat gets through. I know. We worked it out eventually. So it's not about pressure. It's not about that. It's about the heat. So you need a good laminator, and you need very, very thin carrier sheets so that you're not blocking the heat. There you go. Interesting. Now let's do some colouring then. So first of all, this one, the xeranthemum. I'm going to go with 2 lilacs or purples. One's called crimson, one's called mauve. So I'm going to use those 2 in together, and then I'm going to use, because they come in white as well. They come in all sorts of colours, but I thought that would make a nice combination. So I use the lighter one first, and then we'll add some shade with the darker one. Right, Dame Edna's on, and then we'll start again. Yeah, so you need a good sharp pencil for this one. So because they're small small leaves, small petals. Sorry, got there in the end. That'll do. Yes. Yes, that's Friday. I'm enjoying having Grace around. Dave's doing really well as well. So all in all, happy days, you know. And then on Saturday, what are you doing on Saturday? Have you got something good lined up? Grace and I. Right. She's calling it an afternoon rave for the over 30s. Right. So when we were at the open days, Janice Phillips was there as well, wasn't she? Lovely Janice. She has become, we've always been friends, but she's become a really good friend, you know. I love her energy. And so she was telling us about these afternoon discos. I tell you why, because we went to a pub for a meal in the evening on one of the nights, because we were staying over in the hotel. And we were sitting out in the sunshine on the balcony by the river over in Aylesford, and the music was brilliant, like proper, like our kind of generation. I'm going to come in a bit closer for this. So it was really, really good, you know. And we were jamming and singing, and you know, like seat dancing, where you lap dance, just not lap dance, but you sit on the seat and you wriggle around, right? So we were doing that outside, and it was nice, and the landlord was fun. Anyway, so then Janice, I was lamenting the fact that, because I love dancing, but nobody, you know, where are you going to go at our age to go dancing? So I dance in the kitchen. I do that. I crank up the speakers in the kitchen and I jive away to myself. You know, I'll do that on a Saturday morning. So Janice said, well, she said there are these discos all over the country popping up now, and they start at like 3 in the afternoon. There's not a lot of booze attached to them, which is right up my street, and they play our kind of generation music, and it's like an afternoon disco. And she said it's really great fun. So Gracie, of course, she went straight on her phone, and she found one on Saturday afternoon, just off Charing Cross in London. So, see, when you get on the train from here, from Tunbridge Wells, you go into Charing Cross. Boom, right? So he said, Gracie, do you want to go? I said, yeah, I do. So on Saturday afternoon, Grace and I, not lap dancing. No, I didn't mean lap dancing. We're not going lap dancing. We're going disco dancing in Charing Cross. Da, 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 da. If they play ABBA, I'm leaving the building. I don't like ABBA. Anywho, right? I thought it'd be really fun to do. And then I said to Grace, if we're going up to London, cheap day return, I'm a member at the V&A. So for those of you who are, are not familiar with that, the V&A is a museum in London called the Victoria and Albert up in Kensington, South Ken we call it, South Ken. There he is again. And it's a beautiful museum. So anyway, Dave and I are members up there. So you can go to any exhibitions up there. You pay a yearly subscription. It's quite expensive. Well, it's expensive if you don't use it. But we go up there quite often, and there's a Cartier one on at the moment, really brilliant. So I said to Grace, "There's a Cartier exhibition on at the V&A. We just have to get over to South Kent. We could do that in the morning, have lunch at the V&A. They've got a lovely members room, and then we could go disco dancing, lap dancing, not to our afternoon rave. We could be home by 9. Oh, Grace wants to show you. Are you ready for these penguins? They are absolutely gorgeous. Look. Oh, no! Oh, is that beautiful or what? These cairns, look. Grace was telling us about penguins and how they mate for life, and how the male goes and finds a special pebble and presents the woman with it. And then if she accepts the pebble, then they mate for life. Yeah, I suppose it's a rock, isn't it? Like diamonds are forever. Yeah. Aren't they gorgeous? I know. Grace, I told you she was, doesn't matter what that young woman puts her mind to, she's good at it. Love the penguins, me too. So perhaps this weekend or Friday night, maybe Grace, you could teach me how to make some penguins, please, because they are fantastic. I made some owls. They came out well. Right. Yeah, aren't they great? Okay, so we've got the light colour in. Yes, that's what we're doing Saturday. I love dancing. I always did. Even when I was, when I was a kid, when I was a young girl. Right, let me just add a little bit of depth now around the inside here. I always used to love, you remember we used to go to a disco on a Friday night? Did you as well? I used to love it. I could lose half a stone. I didn't drink alcohol, I just drank water. And I was on the dance floor from the minute the music started. We used to go down Saturday night to the rugby club. I would dance all night. I never came till the slow one started, and then I'd be like, oh, go and sit down. Have a breather, have a glass of water, wait patiently, get asked to do a slow dance, and then off you go again. It was a proper workout, and I loved it. So I'm hoping that going up to London, up to Charing Cross, mind you, the landlord of the pub, he was saying, because we were talking to him, and he said they have them in Rochester, they have them in Maidstone. We didn't know that, so we're going to the city. Yeah, and it's just for our generation, older people who fancy a jig, I think it's good for you, don't you? Nice, that's that. Then I think I'll add a little bit of this one. What's this called? Mauve. Right, mauve. Just add a bit of mauve. It's number 249. Just over the top of the lighter one. What was the lighter one called? Crimson. Okay. There we go. Add a little bit of mauve. It just changes it a little bit. A bit bluer, isn't it? A bit of shadow. Okay. See, I'm glad I did it already, because I can see what I'm doing. Look. I think I'll go in on these with the mauve as well. There you go. Nice. And then these ones I'm going to do in cream and yellow. Well, not cream. This one's called ivory and this one's called cream. Yeah. So I think I'll go with the lighter one. So this is, you can't even see that I'm doing anything, but I am. Okay. I'll just get a cut. I need to sharpen this one. Yeah. So that's what we're doing Saturday. And then Sunday, we've got friends coming all the way from Yorkshire to visit. So we're going to meet with our friends from Yorkshire, Claire and Jill. That'll be brilliant. I haven't seen them for ages. So I'm really excited to hang out with those ladies and go for a nice lunch and just be nice to catch up. Really nice to catch up. So that'd be good. And then on Monday, what we got Monday? Oh, the SHAC. And at some point, I'm going to have to figure out what we're drawing in the SHAC. That'll be all right. I'll come up with something good. Okay, so we'll do that. Yeah. While I've got that one in my hand, I'm going to sort out the yarrow, I think. Actually, no. While I've got that one in my hand, I'm going to sort out the yarrow. I'm just going to use the yellowy one. Cream. See, to me, that's not really cream, but there we are. Yeah, so Monday, 10 o'clock, shakalacking. And then I'll be able to tell you all about the Saturday rave. Oh, Gracie Bowers. Do you know what she said? She said, I just got an email. It's an ABBA special event. It better not be. It better not be, Gray. I never liked ABBA. It's official. And I don't know why not. I just don't. Never did. Tell me it's not true. Linda Williams and I nearly came to blows at the weekend. She loves ABBA. Right. Each their own. If you had two doors like that. And if you went through that door, you could listen to ABBA. And you went through that door, you could listen to Dave Bowie. These are the two camps. Which door would you pick? Which door would you pick? For me, it'd be Dave Bowie all day long. What about you? Come on, let's see what you say. It's either got to be Dave or ABBA. I'm expecting a lot of Daves, and as few ABBAs as possible. ABBA, look, here we go. Oh no. Bowie. Oh, thank God for that. Right, there you go. Look, isn't it funny? Look. Chalk and cheese. Dave Bowie or ABBA? Beyonce. That was not a door, Grace. No, neither. Oh, Lillian. I love Dave Bowie. In fact, I remember when there was an exhibition. Do you remember Dave? My Dave now. We went to the exhibition up at the V&A for Dave Bowie, didn't we? Brilliant. Glynis, Deep Purple wasn't on the door. I hope you're feeling better, dear. Phil Collins was not an option, girls. I didn't say you could paint your own door. I gave you two choices. That's like asking chalk or cheese. Precisely. Chalk or cheese. Give me the cheese any day of the week. Yeah, I love it. Beryl's in the room. Okay, you're forgiven, Beryl. ABBA, it's a question of taste. I know I'm supposed to be neutral. I can't help it. My one of my oldest friends, she had an ABBA revival evening. I didn't go. I couldn't cope with it. Not a whole evening of it. There you go. Right, so we've done that one. That'll do. And then we'll come in with a bit of white on here. Okay, just lighten it up a bit. There you go. This isn't hard, this one. Ken, what about you? Dave Bowie, or I want to know now what Ken's going to say. What was Ken's door? ABBA, of course. I don't think so. Isn't it funny? Okay, but we just have to agree to differ, okay? We just have to agree to differ. There we go. And just know who you're not going to go to the afternoon rave with, okay? You definitely don't want to go to a Dave Bowie Renaissance evening with me then. That's okay. Right, that'll do. Bit of yellow now. I remember when I was a kid, like teenager, 15, 16, and I had a turntable in my room, like just a little turntable. And I used to listen to 2 hour, well, Aladdin Sane, Dave Bowie, right? And the other one that I listened to on repeat, like until my dad said, Barbara, I'm going to cut the plug off that in a minute if you don't change the album, was Tubular Bells. I don't know what it was about that album, but I would love to just lie in the dark when I was a teenager and either just listen for hours to Dave Bowie or Tubular Bells. Boom. Do you remember? Don't know what it was about that album. It just did something for me. Yeah, amazing. Glockenspiel. Do you remember? Glockenspiel. Absolutely fantastic. We had the best years, friends, didn't we? I think so. Maybe I'm just getting nostalgic. My mum and dad would probably say the same. But I think the 60s and the 70s were just fantastic when it comes to music. Okay, so let's have another door then, a little bit further back. What about the Beatles? Would you go to a Beatles evening? Arm in arm. Yes, I would. I love the Beatles. Do you like the Beatles? Queen's good. Queen is good. That would be a difficult choice. Beatles or Queen? Oh, tricky. Beatles. For dancing, I don't know though. Do love music. So there you go, you see. We're going to have a great time on Saturday night, aren't we? I'm going to add a little bit of grey around this flower just to give it a bit of oomph. Yeah. Yeah. And then I was never really into heavy metal, were you? I'm not really a rock chick. I don't really like the real heavy stuff. No, that wasn't really me. Getting all nostalgic now. Yeah, so that's going to be really good to do. Something different. Right, now I need a green for this. Let's have a look. Green. I used 170 apple green for the leaf. That's quite nice. So we'll just go lightly first, and then we'll add a bit of depth. Like that. See? Get stalks in and that. That'd be nice. Yes, a Monday, 10 o'clock in the morning, I'll have something really good for us to go to. I've got a feeling it could have something to do with music. But let's have a think. I'm going to think about that and we'll come up with something really good for Monday morning. And then Monday afternoon, just get those stalks in. Monday afternoon, 2 o'clock. So when we did the workshop on Sunday, we did alcohol inks, right? And on a jelly plate, and it went really well. It really did. But what I also did, right? So now on this one, light, dark, remember? Light, dark, and then on the other side of the center, light, then dark again. So we're just going to put a little bit of depth, bit of shadow on that side, then light, and then a little bit of depth around the lip, this side here. That'll do. And it makes it dimensional, see? Cooler. Yeah, so what was I saying? Right, 2 o'clock. Yeah, we did these alcohol ink things. Let me show you. Really neat. So we did the jelly plate thing, and we did these alcohol background prints. Really nice. And then we I'll show you what we did. We turned them. We did loads of exercise 1, exercise 2. I'm thinking that I probably will turn it into an online course because it was so good to do. But the idea was, look, if I show you that we did these prints like this, and then that you just look for landscapes inside. And then we had these little stamps and we made landscapes. So it was really nice. It was just different ways of pulling the prints. Some of them is a little bit close up this, but you know, just different techniques. It was a different process. And then once you had these little miniature art pieces, then you could start creating these little landscapes on these really abstract, almost like watercolor landscape backdrops. So this was really cool, but we preempted, right? Because it doesn't always work really well. It's an unpredictable art, remember, the jelly plate. But not only that, sometimes it's a bit too dark, right? To a landscape needs to be light enough that you could stamp onto. If it's too dark, you can't see what you're stamping into. I mean, these ones are quite bright, right? So you can go that dark. Look, that was one. These are great. But what we did was we preempted this. I preempted this. And so we made, and this is what we're selling on Monday, we made a pack like of these landscapes. And let me show you. Let me come out a little bit. So these are the spring and summer ones. And you can see the colours. So they're my prints. But there are 21 different ones. So it's looking at this and seeing different opportunities, different landscapes. See, when you turn it round, and they're all different, and they're so lovely to do. It's just really interesting when you start to look at them. But they're nice to stamp onto. It's stencil card, so it's got a really lovely, stampability. You may see lakes, you may see mountains, it's whatever you want it to be. You see, when you stamp onto it, it changes. So this whole pack, look, bit of rain, they're good. They're really good, honest. And so there are 21 of those, and you can chop them up. You can use them as a whole landscape. But I thought they would just be absolute peach. And then Lisa and Jazz, they decided that we also needed like the toppers and tags. So what that meant was, rather than chop up a large one like that, so then that way you only got that bit, right? What they said was, we'll shrink it so you get the whole thing, but condensed. So now you're looking at these. See, it's reduced now. They've taken the whole thing and they've reduced it to the size of a top, like our toppers and tag. And then they've reduced it one further, and we've made these little tags as well. So they're just beautiful to stamp onto or doodle into. So I'm thinking that these are going to be a huge hit on Monday. Really, really, really excellent to do. So that's what I've been planning this afternoon, is sorting out this prep. You know, this is what I've got to work on Monday afternoon. But I think it'll be really, really good. And then down the road a little bit, we'll do an online course, and we'll do an online course, and I'll teach you the process of how to make your own. But even so, we sold loads of those packs to the people that had just learnt how to do it, just because it's like the landscape postcards and tags and toppers. Why wouldn't you? You've got them in the cupboard and they look so nice. You know, you can add colour to them, etc., etc. So, in other words, it's a great starting place. It takes away that sitting down in front of a blank white piece of card. You've got a really good starting point there. So I think they'll be good. You know, I think they'll be popular. And then the last thing I was going to tell you about, what else we got next week? I can't remember. Well, it'll just have to wait then, won't it? I've got a bit of brain fog going on. So that, my friends, I think if we look at our work here, right, we're going to do the white on the last of the flowers is the Zenobia, which is, it looks to me it looks like but different leaves, it looks like Lily of the Valley. Really lovely little bells, white bells. So you're just going to use white and the same green. So it's the same family here. We're using the grey. And we've still got loads of other little flowers to finish. But let's say that brings us to the end of our alphabet. Can we call it a day on the alphabet? I think so too. So we'll carry on doing the floral colouring every now and again. We'll get. I'm really looking forward to colouring in the japonica. What a nice J that is, you know. And what I see here is if these are black and they're laser printed, they will make superb hot foiling images. So that's where we're headed in the Clarity, on the Clarity bus. Motown for me. Carol P, I agree. I love Motown all day long. Good. Right, my friends. So how about we call it a day? I'm going to go and find Grace and Mark. Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure, never a chore. And I will see you bright and early at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with Paul for the hot foiling session. I think you'll enjoy it. It's amazing how a little bit of bling goes a long way. Hey? So Grace, thank you for your help. I hope that everybody enjoyed themselves this evening. Have a nice evening. Lots of love. Bye-bye.